Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of ScholAceStic, a podcast where I help you ace your scholastic pursuits. Today, I'm going to share some of the ways that I organize my physical and mental spaces to reduce distractions and create the ideal study environment so that I can be as productive as possible. Let's get into it. We all know that our phones are the number one distraction when it comes to anything in life. We're constantly checking our notifications, scrolling, playing games, or otherwise engaging with our phones in ways that break our focus. So, what can we do to minimize the amount that our phones distract us from our productivity? There are multiple ways. Firstly, make your phone physically inaccessible. You can do this by turning your phone silent or completely off and putting it in another room in a locked box, or somewhere else that requires you to physically get up and leave your study or workspace if you want to use it. Additionally, you can use an app like Forest to minimize your phone usage or use your phone to record a time lapse of you studying. I've used this method of making your phone physically unavailable occasionally, but sometimes I need my phone with me to communicate with classmates while working on a project, or to give me the notification pop-ups to help me log into different sites that I might not have realized I needed. So, what do I do when I need my phone with me while I work, but I don't want to get distracted? For me, Discord, Pinterest, and YouTube are the main apps on my phone that distract me from work. That's why I like to turn on work mode while I work or study. On my phone, I have the ability to customize and turn on or off different modes that restrict access to certain apps, change certain settings on my phone, and even change the background to put me in the right mood. In my work mode, I make sure I still have call, text, and email capabilities, but I restrict access to Discord, Pinterest, and YouTube. I also switched my background and home screen to the dark academia aesthetic so that it puts me in the right mood to get back to work whenever I look at my phone. Another good idea for a phone or computer wallpaper is your vision board. That way, whenever you look at either device, you're reminded of your goals, dreams, and vision for whatever you're trying to achieve. Real quick, I want to take a moment to talk about healthy distractions. Sometimes we need a break from studying to just scroll. If that's the case, work on curating your social media feeds to cater to your interests and inspire you rather than drag you down. I've worked to curate my YouTube feed to show me study and self-improvement videos that get me motivated. That way, when I want to consume content, the content that will inspire me is right there. Some of my favorite YouTubers are Unjaded Jade, Ruby Granger, Michelle B, spelled Mucheleb, Lavendare, spelled Lavendaire, Elizabeth Phillips, and Faye Films, spelled Fayefilms, to name a few. Additionally, on my Pinterest home, I still have memes and fan art and whatnot, but I created a study inspiration folder so that when I feel myself getting drawn to Pinterest, I can look at my study inspiration folder and remember what I'm trying to accomplish. Something else I like to do to minimize distractions is create a minimalist workspace. I keep my phone and computer decluttered by going through them on a regular basis, deleting apps and documents that don't serve me anymore or that simply distract me. I also declutter my physical workspace regularly and make sure that when I work, I only have the strict necessities for that task around me. For example, if I'm reading and annotating a book for a literature class, I'm not also going to have my math textbook out. I know some people actually thrive in cluttered spaces. I know somebody whose room looks very messy to an outsider, but for them, it's their little paradise. They know where everything is and can find it pretty easily, even though to anybody else, it's mind-boggling how they know exactly where everything is amidst the clutter. However, I personally like a nice tidy space, and for most people, it helps them to focus better. Unfortunately, even when we keep our digital and physical spaces clear, sometimes our mind isn't, and a cluttered mind is arguably more distracting than a cluttered space. So, there are a few things I like to do to help with that. The first thing is to use a planner. I know that some people struggle to use planners, but I promise that with practice and discipline, a planner can quickly become your best friend. Planners can be either physical or digital, and although I would prefer to use a digital planner for the sake of the environment, I find that my mind just works better with paper. That said, I use a fully curbside recyclable planner by a wonderful sustainable brand called Wisdom Supply Co. This is not sponsored, by the way. They used to have a website, but have since switched to a Kickstarter. This is my second year using their planner, and I love it. The paper is such high quality, and I love their clear commitment to sustainability and an ethical business model. I'm realizing that the more I gush about this, the more it sounds like a sponsorship, but I promise it's not. I just really love this company and the stuff they create and want to let more people know about it so they can support this awesome business. And I'm realizing now as I'm recording this that in a future podcast episode, because I have scripted all of these, I'm going to mention this company again, and it's going to sound like a sponsorship again, but it's not. So you'll get to hear about the company all over again in a future episode. Anyway. Sometimes, a planner is not enough to help with the clutter in my mind. I'm able to brain dump all my tasks into one place, but sometimes there are other unrelated thoughts that keep distracting me. For example, if my intrusive thoughts are really bad, or I can't stop thinking about a situation where I feel like I could have done something better, I have trouble focusing. In that case, I journal. Usually, once I spew all my thoughts on paper, or, more typically, in a Word document, I'm able to take a deep breath, let it go, and return to the task I was working on. So far, I've mentioned things you can do to manage yourself and your environment to reduce distractions. However, if you're working or studying out in public, distractions are nearly a guarantee, and generally, you can't just yell at everybody to stop moving and shut up so you can concentrate. What do you do then? Personally, I listen to music. I have an instrumental study playlist on my MP3 player that I listen to sometimes, or if Wi-Fi is available, I listen to playlists off of YouTube. The music I listen to depends on my mood. I used to listen to epic orchestral music a lot, but lately I've been really enjoying lo-fi and synthwave music. When I'm really into the dark academia aesthetic and feeling really motivated, or when I'm trying to get myself into that state, I listen to classical music. Some people just need ambient noise, in which case, study with me videos are very helpful. I've also discovered that music with isochronic tones helps reduce my anxiety and increase my focus when I'm particularly stressed. If you don't like any noise while you're studying, noise-canceling headphones, earbuds, or earplugs will be your friend. Aside from noises, I also notice that I get distracted when a lot of people are walking by or doing things around me. Sometimes I can tune them out and focus on the task at hand, but other times I get distracted and end up people-watching instead of working. In that case, finding a secluded spot can be helpful. If you have study rooms available to you, I really enjoyed working in those while I was in university. Just make sure that if they have a reservation requirement, that you reserve them ahead of time. Aside from limiting distractions as much as you can, it also takes time to build discipline to resist the temptation of distraction. Some ways you can do that are by setting little rewards for yourself. As an example, if you have a major phone addiction, try setting your phone aside for 15 minutes with a timer. If you manage not to touch your phone within these 15 minutes, you can reward yourself with a small treat like a square of chocolate. If you can't tell, I love chocolate. Gradually, increase the amount of time that you try not to interact with your phone and continue to reward yourself as long as you succeed at not touching your phone. I also want to note that it takes 20 uninterrupted minutes to get into a flow state, that magical headspace where you're so immersed in your task to the exclusion of everything else that you're fully engaged and focused, and things seem to come to you easily. Flow is the state we want to be in when we work, because it makes the task at hand enjoyable, even if it's just reviewing flashcards. Oftentimes, when you can't get into a flow state, when you get into a flow state, you don't want to stop working because you feel like you're quote-unquote on a roll. If you can, keep working in a flow state until you can't anymore. Even if you break for just a second to check your notifications, you have broken the flow state and it will take you another 20 uninterrupted minutes to get back into that flow state. If that's not motivation to stay away from your phone, I'm not sure what is. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ScholAceStic, and I'm sorry for all of the trips over my own tongue that I had in this episode. It's been an interesting morning, so I was a little flustered when I started recording, but we're all good now, so apologies for that. In the next episode, I will discuss the concept of sanctity of space. Work hard, take care, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.